Hello everyone, this is David. Just wanted to welcome you to Module 6. We have 2 weeks to go in this term. Module 6 is about reasoning, and this is by far my favorite lesson in this course. What it does is it talks about the foundations for critical thinking and how do we rationalize the way that we think. How do communities, how do family, how does our history play into our thinking? And so this week you're going to be reading 3 chapters on 3 different methods of reasoning. And in chapter 12, you begin to talk about comparative reasoning. And comparative reasoning is done sometimes simply for speed. And if you recall from Module 5, talking about cognitive heuristics, that is a foundation in thinking that provides speed as well. But comparative reasoning is like this is for that, or this is like that. And so this particular situation is like that one, so therefore they are similar. And so what you are doing is you are projecting the familiar onto the unfamiliar. And what I want you to do this week is make sure that you look at the 4 tests of acceptability for comparative reasoning. And then there are also included in the text this week 5 criteria for evaluation of comparative reasoning. So make sure that you focus on those because you'll be able to utilize those in some of your assignments coming forward. So that's chapter 12. Chapter 13 is about ideological reasoning. And think of ideological reasoning as top-down thinking. These are things where you start off with a reason, an opinion, and then you go out and search for facts to support your opinion. And so opinions come first and facts come later to an ideological reasoner. And so one of the questions this week talks about what impact does social media have on reasoning. So think about that. Think about that as it relates to ideological reasoning. What impact does the community that you belong to have on your reasoning strategies? What impact does your family have? What impact does your church have? What impact do your political viewpoints and those who you associate with have on your ideological reasoning? So chapter 13 will help you in the discussion forum this week. And then finally, the third type of reasoning is empirical reasoning. And where ideological reasoning is more of a top-down reasoning strategy, empirical reasoning is more of a bottoms-up. So you hunt for facts first, and then you establish your opinions later. It's more of a scientific approach and more of what you're doing whenever you do research in your graduate program here. So you go out and you look for facts, and then you build your strategies, your opinions, those things based upon the facts that you find. Empirical reasoning, however, is while it is a scientific approach, is not without its issues. And so make sure that you talk about those in your paper coming up this week. So you have 3 things to do. Discussion board this week talks about social media and reasoning, and it will be interesting to see how you will pull in potentially comparative reasoning into that, and certainly ideological reasoning. So those 2 are heavy comparative, heavy ideological, and low empirical. The assignment this week, I'm asking you to compare these 3 different types of reasoning strategies. I want you to define them and make sure that you're very clear on your definition, but don't get hung up in the weeds on this one. There are some real technical things that you'll have with System 1 thinking and System 2 thinking, so I don't want you to dance too much in that arena, but I do want to make sure that you define it and certainly focus on application in your assignment this week. And then your application assignment, where you're developing your problem-solving methodologies, you're going to be developing a plan of action. And so as you develop that plan of action, what I want you to think about, you don't necessarily have to include this in your application exercise, but I want you to think about the reasoning strategies that you used, perhaps, to develop this problem-solving model going forward. Are there some things that you thought about as you went through trying to collect some strategies, some solutions to the problems that you've identified? Are there some of the things that you did in there that may be based upon comparative reasoning or ideological reasoning? Or have you been strictly empirical in the reasoning that you had in developing that plan? All right. Hope you have a good week. If you have any questions, reach out. Talk to you later.